and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your weekly dose of the internet for, dang it, where'd Nathan go? There he is.
I'm right here. I've been here.
For Sunday, May 12th, 2019, I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Lord Varys,
Lord, I don't know. I have no clue.
the Master of Whispers. It's from Game of Thrones. You don't know.
Oh, God. Don't set me up for failure like that.
It's too bad. I already did.
What's going on
It's
here?
easy.
What's happening with my camera? It's all kinds of messed up. Camera's just wait. What are you doing, camera? Work with me, friend. You were fine just a minute ago, and now it's all like, no, I hate you. I hate you. All right. What were we
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, right. Please remember, everybody, you can help support this show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. You can also pick up some of our merchandise in the link below. If you do have anything that you want us to talk about, whether it's a news story, something that happened way beyond the scope of the last week, or just a new show or an old show or a theory, a hypothesis, whatever it is, you can send it to us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or Reddit, all of which are at iRedditCast. Are you kissing your blanket?
No, I was yawning.
Oh, okay. Oh, and
then I had to straighten my mustache.
hang on. Hey, Nathan, talk for me real quick.
I'm gonna be talking right here, right now.
Okay, that's a little better. You were blastingly loud when you weren't when we did the first little audio test. So, that makes complete sense. So, real quick, before we
Who needs audio tests when you can do it on the fly?
Yeah, right? Before we do anything else, I need to make, a major complaint. It's not, against anything relevant in any capacity, but I need to make it all the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what it is that I really need for people who make video games to be.
Skype is messing up.
Nathan, can you hear me?
All right. Okay. I can hear you.
I really need the people that make video games to be considerate of the audio levels, just one in general, but two especially when the game launches and it has opening music. Because there are so many times that I will launch a game and I proceed to have horns shoved through my ears. And I'm like, could you not?
No, they have to. It's to give you the weight of the game.
Yeah, I can't hear anything anymore, so I guess you gave it to me. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, it's the weight of the game.
Yeah. The weight was too strong for me to bear.
Well, it really shows you.
Just how weak I am. I know. Anyway, how's your week been? 2 weeks, I guess. We weren't here last week. Nathan was sick, and I was just feeling very out of it. So we are back now. So how has your last 2 weeks been? How's a month of May been treating you?
I had been pretty sick pretty much the entirety of May, but I'm feeling a lot better now, so that's good. Not a whole lot has happened, really.
That's cool.
Oh, excuse me.
Are you ready to go climb a mountain?
Yeah. I actually got that day off.
Sick. Yeah, I had a couple of people like, dude, what the hell? Thursday at 1 o'clock? Oh, by the way, just to bring everyone up to speed on what we're talking about, I am getting married in 20 days. I'm going to be getting married on June 1st. Very excited about that. And I was trying to decide what to do for my bachelor party. Yes, I know groomsmen are supposed to decide, but I mean, whatever. Don't care. It's all about what fits within schedules and stuff anyway. And they're like, why don't you? Because one, I don't drink. I don't party. I don't go to bars. I don't go to clubs. I don't go to strip clubs, especially not. You probably wouldn't catch me dead in the parking lot. So what is there still to do?
Bet.
And and someone mentioned well, why don't you do a really big game night thing? And I'm like, here's the problem. Yeah, you can sit down and you can have 6. I think Settlers of Catan even has an 8-player variant now. You can have 8 people playing Catan, but what about the 5 to 8 other people who are there to spend time with this person who is playing a game with only these 7 other people. Like, what do? Just look over and be like, well, sorry guys, this game's full, fuck off. Like it's not great. Which incidentally, after I'd already made the plans and everything, someone suggested like, well, you could have went to like Dave and Buster's, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I guess that would have been what worked. So no, we're gonna go climb a mountain, and by a mountain I mean just kind of a really big hill. We're gonna go climb the Butte, but I wanted the people that are traveling up from out of state to be able to go, and most of them arrive like the Tuesday or the Wednesday before the wedding. So there's only like 3 days before the wedding, 2 really, that they will be available. So it's like, all right, so your options are Thursday or Friday, both of which are work days. It takes a little while to not only get out to the place that we're going to climb, but then you have to, climb it. Which, I mean, I say climb, which is like walk up a couple of slopes and some stairs. Like, it literally has a bunch of stairs on it so that it's easy to climb. It's probably the easiest climb in Alaska. Probably. That, like, one that you can still call a climb that isn't a trail.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's an hour drive to get there. An hour up, around an hour up, you hang out at the top for a little while, and then you have an hour back down. And it's like, well, with that in mind, I can't schedule it at like 6.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, the sun would still be up, but people like to sleep. Especially because a lot of them will probably have like horrible jet lag.
I don't have any problem with it.
You don't ever sleep, so.
Mm-hmm. I'm slowly becoming a lich. I have to find something though that to really pour my soul into for it to become my phylactery.
Alphonse.
I don't know. He's kind of dumb. I feel like he'd walk himself into death.
No. See, that's the thing. He's so dumb that he has like the domino effect where he's just so lucky and always survives.
Are you calling Domino dumb?
No, I'm calling her lucky.
I was gonna kill you if you were.
No, it's like I said, I was calling her lucky.
Domino's is sick. The Deadpool movie really did wonders for Domino because actually Domino's power in the comic books is pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Like how do you weaponize luck? Apparently she did. Congrats. Zazie Beetz was great in it.
Hey Nathan, real quick, because I popped open Discord like a fool, because I'm in a very awkward conversation with somebody, and I'll talk about that as well. How do you spell not Piplups, Samurott? How do you spell that Pokemon's name?
Samurott?
Yeah.
Samurott.
Oh, okay.
Like samurai otter.
Yeah, I put an E on the end, which is why it fucked up. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and talk about it's garbage. Talk about the conversation that I have since I brought it up and interrupted the show for it. So I still play this phone game, Danmachi, right? For the Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? The anime has a phone game. It's real fun. There's a bunch of story stuff in it. And not too long ago, they added the ability to create essentially what are like guilds, right? And I'm in a pretty good one. Like, we're like top 15-ish, depending on the month. And you can only have like 30 people in a guild, so the community isn't super huge. And they have a Discord server, and I've been in the Discord server since I joined. And I left the Discord server last night because of stupid internet drama. And basically what it is like they changed, not the guild, the people who make the game changed the way one of the systems works so that it's like really luck-based and really frustrating because you get limited attempts at these things that factor into your guild success, but they're luck-based, so you can just get shat on, and it can ruin your contribution, essentially. It's very frustrating. And
yeah, that doesn't sound very fun.
No, it's not. I hate it. And I've expressed this multiple times. I hate it. But that's not the problem. The problem is that one of the leaders in the guild have spent disgusting amounts of money and always do really well no matter what, even with the luck-based system in place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime that someone complains about like not having the right units or saying that it's really difficult or complains,
well, you could suck my unit.
It's not quite that bad, but it's like, I don't know what your guys' problem is. I'm doing great. And it's like, that's a really big feel bad, especially when you're one of the people that are supposed to be like in a leadership position. Like, you should be building people up, not being like, get good, scrubs. Like, that's not how you lead anything. And basically, I put in a request to the rest of the leadership of like, hey, can we knock that off? And that person like went back and forth with me a couple of times. I was like, you know what? This is just a stupid internet game. I don't need this, and left.
And that's in your own Discord server?
No, it's in the one for the guild that I'm in.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So, yeah, it's great, super happy fun times. I love stupid internet drama.
Yeah, I love making fun of stupid people.
Damn.
That's not true. I feel bad for a lot of stupid people.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Anyway, should we actually talk about news now instead of just like random bullshit?
Sure.
Sure. Why not? Sounds good. Let's do it. Let's do it, fam.
10.
Schiff introduces constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United.
This was submitted by Lobster Bash to Our Politics.
So this is actually pretty sick. Representative Adam Schiff on Wednesday introduced a constitutional amendment to overturn the Supreme Court's decision from 2010, often referred to as Citizens United. Citizens United, it was a very, very controversial ruling that passed 5-4 in the United States Supreme Court, and it's most well known as the Businesses and Corporations Are People Too bill. Because it's the one that made that allowed businesses, corporations, nonprofits, etc., to have a voice in the political system so that they can make expenditures to try and influence elections without restriction or limit. And since then, billions and billions and billions of dollars from the wealthiest areas have 100% dictated the results of American elections. Because while you are not allowed to hand someone $100 and say, you will vote this way because I have paid you, study after study shows that whichever campaign spends the most money will normally win the campaign that they're working on. And when you have massive amounts of whatever agency's money, whether it's, the telecom industry or the pharmaceutical industry or the oil industry, being able to pump literally billions of dollars into an election, they have been dictating American politics for the last 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam Schiff, he wants to change that. He's ready to see that no longer be a thing.
Corporations are not people.
No, corporations are not people, and they shouldn't get a voice in the political system. Guess what? They already do. It's called fucking lobbying, and it's also bullshit.
Mm-hmm. If anyone here thinks that this is a bad idea, you just got to sit back and think, do I want Disney running my life?
Oh, well, I mean, maybe. No, I don't.
Absolutely not. Do you see the way they ran Star Wars?
I'm getting really concerned about Disney because I feel like Disney is losing, it is losing, if not have already lost the Disney magic, and are just rolling a formula to make movies that print money.
Yeah, they are. They found that formula with Guardians of the Galaxy.
And like every movie is just doing that now. At least one's from Disney.
Mm-hmm. Every movie's at least in part Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like, you know what makes me the most sad about that though is that we do have relatively hard confirmation that the other Avatar films are going to be coming now with they're going to be trading off with the Star Wars movies every Christmas season.
Yeah, but they're going to be funny comedies now.
Right, and that sounds awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
That sounds atrociously terrible.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my mom's in the chat. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
I totally thought yesterday was Mother's Day, and I was going to call her, and then I realized it wasn't, and I was like, oh, sick, and I went back to sleep, and I slept for the entire day.
So, in any case, back on track. Citizens United, get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
Out of here. Get it out of here, please.
Yeah, I don't see how it passed in the first place, to be honest. It's a terrible piece of policy.
Like our own governor in the state of Alaska, the business campaign supporting him exceeded $3 million, which
God,
is
I hate
insane.
that guy. Dude, our governor is so garbage.
Yeah, but a bunch of businesses spent $3 million to help him get in office.
He's like mini Trump. He's fucking terrible.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but he's pretty bad.
He's fucking terrible, dude.
Yay.
He is one grabber by the pussy away from being Trump.
There you go.
9,
Oh, and $1 billion in failed business deals, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
I don't know Dunleavy's personal wealth.
Pope Francis makes it mandatory for sex abuse cases to be reported.
This was submitted by merely myself to our news.
So Pope Francis recently put out, I forget what they called it. It's basically like a special piece of paper that'll end up becoming like religious law.
Religious law.
An apostolic letter, which will then be incorporated into the Vatican law. Anyway,
But it won't be Cole's law.
no, it will not be Cole's law or coleslaw for that matter. In any case, so what this decree does is that all cases of sexual abuse have to be reported within 90 days to the main Vatican. And before, if somebody had received information about sexual abuse either directly or indirectly, it was up to that individual's discretion on whether it would be reported or not. That is no longer the case. Now you have 90 days to prepare a statement and a essentially like this is a case of what happened and send it into the Vatican to be addressed.
That's interesting. Do they have to submit it to the police?
Probably not.
Then this is kind of useless.
Like probably not.
Sex abuse cases have to be reported to the proper authorities. You can't just keep going and reporting them to your higher ups, especially if your higher ups have, through his history, have done literally nothing.
No, yeah, it's just within the church.
Yeah, this is useless.
Unfortunately. I mean, it depends. I feel like it doesn't have to be useless, but it easily could end up being so.
Sure, a lot of the unspoken things now become spoken about, but you still run the risk, since it's all internal, you still run the risk of it staying internal.
Right. No, I get it. I understand.
That's not something we want.
It's a step forward. I don't know. I really get annoyed at the massive disconnect from anything religious and the rest of the world. Like,
I wouldn't even say it's a step forward, right? So stay with me, right? This just runs the risk of being abused by them not reporting it to the proper authorities and just trying to deal with it internally. And this runs that risk so terribly that it's not even really a step forward on the same path. Realistically, you're changing paths. You're just hopping over to a new path. You're still on the same latitudinal or longitudinal, whatever it fucking is, line, because you're not actually moving. You're just hopping to the side.
yeah.
Like this doesn't really help.
You're just presenting an argument so that if anything comes up in the future, you can have it.
Exactly. You're just trying to take the heat off of you.
That makes sense. I don't know. There's a lot of issues that exist within churches that need to be addressed, like just
Absolutely.
in terms of their status on a world scale.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
8,
United States does not join plastic waste agreement signed by 187 countries.
This is submitted by Roku44 to Our World News.
We are the best, right?
No, we're the bad guys.
Yeah, we're the baddies. Damn it.
It has happened. America has become bad guys.
So yeah, nearly every country in the world agreed to a new provision in a treaty that would aim to
How many countries are there in the world?
I think 189.
Oh, cool. So who else didn't sign?
China. There's 195 countries, so not quite, but I know that China was one of them that also said no.
Oh yeah.
I imagine the other ones are like Russia, North Korea, and then like some small, like just like picked from a hat country out of Africa. Because that's what seems to happen. It's like, all right, the United States said no, the bad guys said no, and for some reason, Zimbabwe, we don't really know why, but Zimbabwe was just like, nah.
Why did you not lump us together with the bad guys? We're obviously the bad guys.
Okay, so all the bad guys said no, and a random African country said no. So yeah, what the treaty would do is to limit plastic waste pollution, and the United States was like, you know what? Nah. Because what it actually does is it adds plastic to the United Nations supported Basel Convention, which regulates the transfer of certain materials between borders in a hope to attempt to limit what happens with those materials.
Sure.
We didn't even participate in the talks. Like we just weren't there. We're like, nah. We make money off of plastic, and that's all we care about at this point. So
yeah, I'm tired of the inaction that's happening when it comes to cleaning up the world.
Is that an actual country, Zach?
Picked from a hat?
Oh, I don't think I actually have the whole chat open. Okay, no. All I saw was PICDFRO, Pictfro, and I was like, is that a country?
No.
No, okay.
No, it's not. It's picked from a hat.
The second half of his word was cut off. It's okay. I can see it now. Don't mind me. I'm just dumb.
God damn it.
All right. So on to what we
no. Not only is this I feel like this is just a waste.
It's a pun.
Why you do this to me?
I don't know. It's easy. No, I feel like this was definitely us being another clear-cut case of evil. Like
I mean, when you boil it all the way down to brass tacks, yeah, pretty much. It's us being greedy and not wanting to adjust to things that could end up affecting our economy's bottom line because we're ran by businesses and not people.
You can tell because actually, no, I'm sorry. You're wrong. We are run by people. Businesses are people. We just went over this.
Oh, right. All right. So presuming that we don't, we move forward with that and don't like try and roll it back, how long do you think it is until we can elect a business literally as a public official?
I don't know. That's a good question. Theoretically, we should be able to just elect them now.
Like, how long until Disney, Pepsi, Comcast is the president of the United States?
Now, I'm not saying we should vote for them as a form of protest, because they'll probably get elected, and then we're gonna have to face, potentially even worse crap. But
hang on. So Zach mentions in the chat room, America is profiting from dinosaurs, dead dinosaurs. Question: is that a problem with PETA? Like, does PETA get upset about like people driving cars? Have they made that connection yet, or is it only live animals that they have a problem with?
I think it's live animals.
No, because they get upset when people have like fur coats, right?
Right, but that animal was alive recently.
Oh, okay.
These dinosaurs have been dead for millions of years.
So what's the cutoff then? 25 years? 100 years?
I don't know.
Or is it a type of animal? Like, do they feel like,
Is it based off of, because this is a reptile, do they have different like lines of
does
play
PETA
for
have
it?
like weird like animal racism going on, or speciesism, I guess would be the better word, of like, like mammals are the best, but I mean
they don't seem to care what kind of animal it is as long as they can take it into their back area and kill it.
Yeah. All right.
7.
Trump tax figures show over $1 billion in business losses.
Whoa, but I thought we elected him because he was a smart and sane genius.
He is a smart and sane businessman. He is one of the best businessmen in the world, okay? I am so good at business. I have had so many businesses, and they did...
This was submitted by NanoPick of Red to Our Politics.
They did pretty well. Like, the only thing that actually saved me is my book, which you should read, The Art of Business. It is a masterpiece.
Do you see how he tried to explain away his loss of $1 billion in businesses?
No.
He said that it was on purpose.
Oh.
So that so that his taxes would reflect something different. So he basically admitted to tax fraud for years.
what?
Yeah,
God.
he said that a lot of real estate agents during the 90s and 80s would do that. They would quickly lose a bunch of money so that they can reflect something different on their taxes.
I guess I understand what he's getting at overall with that statement.
But it is tax fraud.
Is it tax fraud?
It is.
Like, if the property does lose value, is that
Okay.
still considered
But
tax
if you're
fraud?
taking your money that you say that you earned and say that you no longer had earned it, that you had lost that money and instead put it into a shell company, then that is tax fraud.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that works. Now, these all of these tax returns are from like the mid 90s, whereas the ones that we really want to see are the recent ones. So we'll get there, though. We'll get there.
6,
Couple who uprooted a 180-year-old tree on protected property ordered to pay $586,000.
Jesus Christ. That was submitted by Wally Hartshorn to our news.
Don't feel bad for them whatsoever, Nathan.
No, I don't feel bad for him. That's just a lot of money.
Yeah, it's not to them though. So this is what is it? It is the Thompsons. The Thompsons. They had a substantial amount of property, and when I say a substantial amount, they had a 34-acre property that was partly on the Sonoma Land Trust Conservation, which is protected land, and all of that land has been marked as protected for the sake of being a conservation, of that we don't want to see environmental damage, we don't want to see the modern city devour this area, right? It is protected for that purpose of just still being natural land in its relatively natural state. Well, in 2014, the person whose job it is to ensure that that area is still being maintained and protected and all that stuff, received a report that something was happening on a particular part of the land, and when he went over there, there was essentially a dirt road that had just been built up through part of it with tons of trees that had been ripped up, including a 180-year-old oak tree that was uprooted and bound in such a way so that it could be dragged onto private property to be part of that property's beautiful grounds. And when he found this, he found the people who owned the property next to it that were doing this. And basically, they had done it, one, because they wanted this big, massive 180-year-old oak tree on their property. Because, like, man, I want to have a 180-year-old tree on my land. That's a nice talking piece for all my rich friends. And they had a lot of landscaping and stuff going on at their house, and they didn't know what to do with all of the dirt. So they just had the contractors just dump the dirt on the conservation's land. And
man, these guys are doing real good.
Yeah, and because they were actually building in a couple places where they shouldn't necessarily be building, they had ripped up some other trees that they were just going to throw away when, again, those were protected trees. Here's what's even better, is that it wasn't like a matter of ignorance. They knew, because part of the land they owned was part of that conservation, so they had signed the agreement to protect that land.
So this reminds me of the YouTuber recently, Onision, who uprooted a bunch of stuff on his property and dumped it into preserved marshlands right behind his property.
Good work, guy.
He had to pay a shitload as well. It's like, guys, stop cutting down your trees.
Well, after the case was had, in which case, like, their defense was garbage. It still took like 4 years for this case to be fully processed because of
litigation and everything.
Yeah, but the judge came out with what was it? A 53-page order. It was something massive, like
a 53-page.
Let me find it. 57-page ruling.
Oh.
Yeah, 57-page ruling from Sonoma County Superior Court Judge Patrick Broderick.
He literally threw a book at him.
Yeah, completely sided with the land trust, calling out the Thompsons for knowing and intentional violations of legally binding conservation deals. He said the couple had shown a persistent failure to tell the truth as the case unfolded and had demonstrated an arrogance and complete disregard for the mandatory terms of the easement. And he ordered the couple to pay $586,000 in damages towards environmental restoration and other costs outlined in the judgment that was finalized last week, which included a very substantial amount of legal fees because the land trust was like, no, they knew that they shouldn't do this. We're not paying our lawyer. They can pay our lawyer. And so, in response to this, the couple put the land that was that was part of the problem here. They put that land up for sale, as well as one of their other properties, for the low price of. I don't know how they're going to be able to afford to pay this fine, Nathan, after they sell this property, because the property is only being put up for sale for $8.45 million. So, I mean, oh, that hurts.
God damn. Who just has $8 million?
Well, they don't
that they
have
can hand
8
around?
million. They're selling their property for 8 million.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Who has just $8 million to throw around?
Not Trump.
That's true. That's true.
Somebody does. Like, I mean, 8.45 million by all things nowadays is not much money.
I don't know, man. I think it's still a lot of money compared to what
to
I've
people
been
like
getting.
us, yeah, that's more money than we can ever imagine. But
That's like more money than most people can imagine.
for some people, that's like pocket change.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not okay.
So they'll be fine.
Something's wrong with our economy.
Yeah, and has been for a while, but that's a conversation for another day.
God, I just hate it. I hate it when people are like, look, our economy has grown. And it's like, yeah, but it's only grown at the top end. Our bottom end is still garbage.
I'm glad that the rich people are doing well. Like,
Yeah, but our economy has grown. That means America's doing well. Hot damn, baby.
yeah, but see, that's just part of the whole like brainwashing that people go through to like be a patriot.
It's like, no, guys, stop.
5,
Queen guitarist Brian May proposes a new Live Aid style concert to raise awareness for climate change.
Ooh, this is submitted by 80 Farman to Our World News.
So
This sounds awesome.
yeah, he doesn't know he doesn't know how it would work, and he does believe that climate change is an even larger issue than the original Live Aid concert was, which is damn. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I would want to see this.
it's
I
not
mean,
been
seeing as how I wasn't even alive for the first Live Aid
it's
concert,
not been
at least I don't think.
planned, and they've not really decided like what the direction would be, because like the Live Aid concert, they raised a bunch of money to
Yeah.
help the
85.
yeah, they helped to help, but it doesn't quite work the same way for climate change, because I mean, if one person like if they raise $5 million, they can't just like be like, BP, stop polluting, and hand them $5 million. It wouldn't work. They'd just be like, okay, well, we don't have to. So
You would
fuck
take
off.
the $5 million, you'd pump it into funds for people to use to clean up those areas. You would, pump it into companies that are like cleaning companies essentially, and then you would take the rest of your money and start processes of litigation against the major companies that pollute.
That's a good idea.
Pollute enough to cause climate change.
Right. And then figure out how to just make China stop being China. Since they're like 70% of the problem or some ridiculous number.
Yeah, so like aside from putting sanctions on them, which are tougher than tariffs, and then following through with those sanctions, there's not really a whole lot you can do with China, especially since they're so goddamn strong right now that even if you put sanctions on, they're still going to be prosperous for some kind of number, based off of the people who are just going to ignore your sanctions.
Yeah. Well,
People who like China more than us.
yeah, they like money more than us is what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see what happens, though. I mean, it would be cool if that could happen. Brian May kind of said that he would like to see it happen, not necessarily that he was going to be doing the planning and organizing for it, because Queen 2 is going on tour next year. Queen will be on tour in Australia in 2020 in the month of
Queen
February.
2 Electric Boogaloo.
Hells yeah, in February, with their acclaimed singer Adam Lambert being their new vocalist.
Adam Lambert. Didn't he do? I swear he did that TV show where people singing.
Like,
America's Got Talent? No, not America's Got Talent.
when you say did it, do you mean like he was on it?
Yeah.
Yes, it was American Idol, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a runner-up on the 8th season of American Idol in 2009, which, from what I have understood and read, being the runner-up in like especially American Idol, but in any of them is what you want.
Really?
Yeah, like you like in those competitions. By my understanding, you are shooting for second place.
Why?
Especially American Idol, because with American Idol, the first place person, you get a very specific and ultimately kind of shitty record contract. Like, you get signed immediately but it's signed only on what has already been established as the winnings for American Idol, which it's something like it's like a 3 album, and you only get paid like $100,000.
That's lame.
With no guarantee of a tour or anything like that. Like, it's a really, really bad payout. Whereas second place gets nothing, but you are this close to being first place. And I mean, if you got second place, you're probably amazing, and you can go and make your own contract deal with whoever you want with your own terms. And so the people that get second place generally end up better than the people that are in first.
That's awesome. That's real interesting.
That's my understanding anyway. I mean, obviously we don't know the exact specifics of what goes on in terms of how those things are ran, but that's
right.
But anyway, you want to talk about crying man babies?
Sure.
Let's talk about crying man baby.
4.
Ben Shapiro storms out of BBC UK interview saying, "I'm popular and no one's ever heard of you." Shapiro snapped at the BBC interviewer.
This is submitted by PPD322 to Our World News. Look at the giant baby.
Hang on.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
So the best part about this is that
Is who he said it to.
he was doing an interview with Andrew Neil, which, if you don't know, that's fine. But Andrew Neil is one of the oldest BBC interviewers, which
One of the most conservative.
one of
BBC
the most
interviewers.
conservative interviewers, like, of all time. But he very, very often, almost always, plays devil's advocate in his interviews. He always wants to play the other side of whatever his interviewer is, because one, it makes for a better interview. If you just have two people going,
Jerking each other off.
thank you, you have a good day, it's not very interesting. So he will always play the complete opposite side of whoever he is interviewing to get a back and forth. Even though in cases like this, he is almost 100% on Ben Shapiro's side. Like, they, in terms of like political outlook, they are like a band of brothers, man. But he still plays that devil's advocate card. So, because of who Ben Shapiro is, what he has to do is be a hardcore leftist. He has to present hardcore left ideals, which I say hardcore left when, like, really hardcore left is just like nearing the center at this point.
At least in America.
Yeah, at least in America. And so Andrew Neil was playing that other side and was bringing up things like abortion rights and how Ben Shapiro's thing has like a clickbait factory, pretty literally, and how talking about like policies taking America back to the dark ages and bringing up Shapiro's old tweets and stuff like that. And Shapiro just like lost his shit. Just completely lost it. Going in to say that you
because he can't handle it.
No, he can't. What's even funnier is like he's getting this from somebody who's not actually in that direction, like not actually from the side that Ben Shapiro's against. I can't imagine how this would go if he was actually against somebody that was against him.
That's because Ben Shapiro is actually pretty garbage at debating. Here, I've actually figured out his entire debate. Are you ready? I can tell you.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I'm gonna turn on my speakers and you explain that, and I can still hear you, but I need to refill my coffee. Something serious.
Okay, so the way Ben Shapiro debates is as thus, right? Let's say we're gonna do, we'll say an abortion debate. Okay, you make your piece about your why abortion should be allowed, why you're pro, choice and everything, and then Ben Shapiro's turn comes to debate, and Ben Shapiro immediately starts by trying to lay the foundation for facts that potentially aren't facts. For instance, when he starts talking about abortion, he starts talking about how the baby is alive. And that's not necessarily something that people, agree on when it's, gestating in a stomach for the first 6 months. So right off the bat, he asserts something that he deems as a fact that isn't a fact. And then when then he asks you a question in response to your question. He doesn't actually answer your question. He asks you a question in response to your question. And then when you refuse to answer his question, he claims that because you didn't look at the facts, which he partially made up, and because you didn't answer his question, even though he didn't answer your question, he won. And that is the entirety of like every Ben Shapiro argument. As soon as he steps in, and in fact, if you notice any argument where Shapiro destroys a libtard or anything like that, they're like stupid college kids. He doesn't actually get in front of anyone who can actually debate. And when he does, he gets fucking destroyed every single time.
It's because he's just an internet sensationalist. He's not actually.
He even got destroyed in front of Cenk Ugyahar, and Cenk Ugyahar is a joke.
Well, that's what happens when you're just a megaphone spouting a ideal rather than actually being a figure.
Yeah.
So he went on to say, you purport to be an objective journalist. BBC purports to be an objective down-the-middle network. It is obviously not. It never has been. And you as journalists are proceeding to call one side of the political aisle ignorant, barbaric, and sending us back to the Dark Ages. Why don't you just say you're on the left? To which Andrew Neil smiled and chuckled and then said, if you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it. Which, like, oh, yeah. Like,
dude, that's not even the best line he said.
And then
after he left was when he had the best line.
Yeah, at the end, and I'll let you say the line. At the end.
I have to open it back up.
Oh, you want me to say it? I can.
It's okay.
It's at the very bottom. So at the very end, eventually Shapiro said that the whole thing was a waste of time and that he didn't give a damn what Neil thought of them and that he was not inclined to continue an interview with someone who was as bad motivated as Neil was. And as he was taking off his microphone and throwing it down, he said, "We're done here."
And Neil cheekily replied, "Thank you for your time and for showing that anger is not part of American political discourse."
Ooh, fuck us. Just burn us to the ground. Holy shit.
Dude. What a garbage human being Ben Shapiro is. Dude, all right, so here's the worst part, right? And Ben Shapiro, especially when he talks about anything medical related, just don't trust him. Because he will push for something, and then you'll be like, all right, so this is where you're wrong. Where the fuck are your sources? He'll be like, well, my wife is actually a doctor. So he'll assert that he knows these things because of anecdotal evidence that he picks up from his wife. Like, there's nothing credible about Ben Shapiro except for the fact that he may be all right at economy because he actually went to college for economy. But it's like, why do you ask people questions that they're not, tuned to? He goes off and he talks about how Christianity is the best thing that the West has put forth since forever, and yet. Or he'll talk about how something's happening in politics, and yet he doesn't actually know anything about that fucking subject. He just rambles on and keeps talking.
Yeah.
It's like Tucker Carlson. Like, both of them are fucking terrible.
Well, let's just move away from Ben Shapiro.
3.
He's annoying. Kentucky teen who sued over school ban for refusing chickenpox vaccination now has chickenpox.
Oh, go figure. This is submitted by Observer of Reddit to our news.
Yeah, so this is about a northern Kentucky teenager who was banned from school because he refused his chickenpox vaccination. And then he hasn't went to school since March and got chickenpox. And now, once all of his lesions have scabbed over, he will be allowed to go back to school. And he is going to be maintaining his suit. And his family has said that they are thankful that they were able to find a way to let him still go to school despite not getting vaccinated. And that they believe that they still are on the correct course.
They're not.
Also,
They're
random
fucking
thing,
stupid.
just I legitimately do not know, and I have not looked into it, and maybe you know when I don't. They, in this article, and a quote from the parents, talk about their religious beliefs are what keep them from vaccinating. Their deeply held religious beliefs.
Sure.
What religion is
Jehovah's Witness.
Is it?
A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah.
Okay.
They can't take vaccines in. They can't.
Why?
It's part of chemicals being put into their body. They don't do caffeine. They don't take in any vaccines. They don't take in any medicine. They refuse to go to hospitals when they're sick. They don't even celebrate birthdays. Like, Jehovah's Witnesses are crazy.
Okay. Is there any others?
I want to say Mormons might not, but
Okay.
I guess that one comes down to your Mormon mother group.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I was like,
Muslims might not. I'm not sure about them.
I don't know.
Excuse me.
But it's really like I didn't know, and like, cause that sounds ridiculous all the same.
Yeah,
And again-
Jehovah's Witnesses are the reason.
I like how the sun is just like blasting the right side of my face to look like I'm as white as paper.
I find that interesting, actually.
What's that?
So Jehovah's Witnesses are one of the largest proponents of people pushing anti-vaxxing movements, right?
Okay.
We also know that the people online pushing anti-vax movements are usually Russian trolls, right?
Okay.
Well, Russia had banned Jehovah's Witnesses as a cult out of Russia.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that makes me think. That makes me wonder.
You know, that said, just on a side note, I grew up in Oklahoma, massive religious base, right? Like Christianity, thump that Bible as hard as you can. And there are people that I know in the religious world that I find are genuinely good people. They are not the I am going to completely give you a Blumpkin with my religion, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to shove this as far down your throat until it comes out the other side.
That's not a Blumpkin.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to find a better word that wasn't horribly offensive, and it didn't work.
No.
And so anyway. And so a lot of the times when I see someone, which it doesn't happen in my building because you can't get to my front door. Actually, wait, no, that's not even true. It did happen once. I had a couple of Mormons somehow make it to my door, my third floor door behind a security door. I have no idea how. But anyway, I know some people that are like horribly rude to those people. And it kind of makes me sad because like I know people that are very, very religious that don't take the I'm going to like use my religion as a baseball bat until you comply. And so I normally talk to those people and like we never get anywhere because I'm not religious. I have no reason to be religious. I probably never will be unless there is something on a truly extraordinary level that occurs that could inspire such thoughts, right? Like if some angelic being comes down and turns a mountain into a golem and says, I am God, I'll be like, you know what? Whether you are or aren't, you just turn that mountain into a living creature. So, what can I do for you, Kami-sama? Like, I mean, it's no different than like, Cthulhu, like not technically a god, but you know,
He's all powerful.
I'm not in place to tell you you're not. So welcome.
When someone asks if you're a god, you say yes.
And so like when those people come to my door, I do talk to them, and most of the time they're super nice, super sweet people that genuinely believe that they are doing something good for you, which. Like, and I also recognize that, man, sometimes they're like what they're doing, one is probably difficult because like I know a lot of people that have horrible problems with talking to strangers, much less walking up to doors where you probably have like a 25% chance of no one answering, a 25% chance of somebody just completely like telling you to get the fuck lost and get off their house, a 25% chance of just having a non-conversation of like, oh, hey, okay, thanks, bye. And then a 25% of a 24% of having a nice conversation, and then a 1% chance, if even that, of actually getting somebody. And so when most of your options are suck, depressing, or just non-options, like, I really hope that like, I don't care if people want to practice religion as long as they're not berating other people down with it. So I really, in a way, hope that they get a little bit of a boost to their spirit when they get to have an actual conversation with somebody. Especially because, like, one of the first things I tell them is, like, I am not religious, but I will happily talk to you about whatever it is that you're pitching.
Yeah, see, I don't even do that. I'm just like, I'm not religious. You can keep talking, but, like, it's not penetrating. We had
It's not penetrating.
I have a coworker actually who just recently became religious, and he gave me a bunch of Punisher comics.
That's amazing. Is it because Punisher goes against his religion?
Yeah, because it was Punisher Max comics, and it was done by Garth Ennis, and Garth Ennis did Crossed, and if you know anything about Crossed, you should.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a thing that you only look at if you truly know already what it is, and if you really feel like going down that road.
Yeah, exactly.
2.
Mexico wants to decriminalize all drugs and negotiate with the United States to do the same.
Nice. This is submitted by Maxwell Hill to Our World News.
It's our boy AMLO. You know, Nathan,
That's kind of cool. I like this idea.
I hate so much that I cannot smile or be excited about my president.
Yeah, because our president's garbage.
Whereas there are leaders of other countries that I'm like, I like that guy. I like that person. I like them a lot. They're awesome. Like, even if I don't always agree with them. But people like AMLO, Emmanuel Macron, like, I like these. I like them. They're like, they have a mindset and a level of drive that I can get behind, right? Like they're just like a few steps shy of being the bad guys, and we're really thankful that they're on what we consider to be the good side, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really sad that I can't feel that same way about my president. In any case,
that's all right. At least our president isn't Ben Shapiro.
Oh, please never.
Anyway, you know what Ben Shapiro's book is called?
No.
The Right Side of History. Did you know that in 2014, Ben Shapiro had a tweet that said the right side of history may be the most morally idiotic phrase of modern times? History is not God and has no morality.
Good job, guy. Anyway, so President AMLO calls for the decriminalization of all illegal drugs, all of them, no matter what they are, everything from cocaine, heroin, all the way down to cannabis itself, and wants to transfer all of the funds that is used for combating those illicit substances to pay for treatment and rehabilitation instead. Basically just flat out saying the war on drugs is an absolute complete fucking failure, and we need to just give up on that and work on treating these problems and just guiding people to not do them, or giving them a safe place to do them and still trying to guide them away from them, rather than just trying to make these things not exist because it's not working.
Yeah, he's right. It's about rehabilitation, not incarceration.
I mean, it's the same with prison, right? Like, the American prison system is awful, and we have such a massive recidivism rate because we do nothing to help these people be better people or to do better when they get out of prison. It's literally just sit in the cell and wait until it's time for you to go out again.
You want to know the worst part is that there's a huge chance that we won't decriminalize it, because that means a lot of people will not be going to prison, which means that we lose a huge portion of our slave workforce.
Ugh. So
it's like saying not healthcare. Well, healthcare too, but colleges should be free. They're not going to be in America because that cuts away from our military power.
Yeah.
It's really fucking stupid.
It is. And I hope that one day something changes. I really do. I really do. But here's the neat thing about this, right? Is that even if on a federal level things don't get decriminalized, more and more and more states are taking it upon themselves to push for these changes that they want to see. I mean, we've already seen a massive number of states completely legalize cannabis, more that have decriminalized and made it legal on a medical level, and then some that are just medical, some that are just decriminalized. The latest of which is North Dakota. North Dakota almost just completely without even a single whisper decriminalized marijuana.
And that was submitted by Mama Crass to our Uplifting News.
Like it was signed as a bill. It wasn't even like a ballot measure that went through. The legislature was like, yeah, and then the governor was like, sure, and that was it. Like that's as far of a talk as it had. It had,
that's awesome though.
It had very little hiccups, stops, discussion, anything along the way. They're just like, yep, all right, business as usual. Moving on. What next? And so now it doesn't make it legal, it doesn't make it available for sale, but it does decriminalize it, which means that if you have small amounts of marijuana on you, the most that you could potentially see is a very small fine, but you're not going to be seeing jail time. You're not going to be getting a misdemeanor or anything like that. It's just like, you shouldn't have this. Stop it. It's kind of like a traffic fine at that point of like, well, you weren't supposed to, so bad boy.
Yeah, it's slapping wrists.
I mean, and it's a step towards where we should be. More and more we are seeing states completely legalize it. Right now we have Maine, Massachusetts, Vermont, Michigan, Colorado, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska have completely 100% legalized cannabis in all forms. And then there are about as close as you can get to being legalized, which they have approved it for medical use and decriminalized it, which you're looking at New Mexico,
Nice.
Missouri, Illinois, Minnesota, North Dakota, Ohio, Maryland, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, and New Hampshire have all approved it for medical use and completely decriminalized it, which, I mean, is legalizing it without the formality of saying we've legalized it.
Yes.
The states that it is still fully illegal in. So if you are interested in partaking in the devil's lettuce, don't go to these states, which is Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Texas, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Virginia.
That's right. Don't go to those places.
Just don't go there. There's other reasons that you should actually
there's
probably...
other places. Just don't go to those ones.
There's also other reasons you probably shouldn't go to those places, but whatever. So, and an even...
No, it's really just those ones.
And an even further
Actually,
step,
Georgia has a couple of reasons why you don't go there.
in an even further step, the city of Denver has taken an even more unique step, and they have approved the decriminalization of magic mushrooms.
Yes, but it's just Denver. It is still illegal in the greater state of Colorado.
True.
But that's submitted by J.L. Besk, 1981 to our news.
This was a measure, so this was something that was voted on by the people, and it was a very, very, very narrow vote. The yes vote had 50.56% to the no's 49.44, so super, super narrow. They are doing a recheck and a canvass and certification of the general election to just recount, just to make sure, because it is such a narrow amount that it passed by that they want to make sure. But with that said, it looks as though in the city of Denver, psilocybin mushrooms will be decriminalized. It won't approve them for sale, but it does mean that it won't be as big of a deal if people have
if you get
them.
caught with them.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, ultimately pretty important because that's where a lot of arrests for them come from. Is just people getting caught with them.
Mm-hmm. And, like, I mean, we've even talked multiple times about people using psilocybin mushrooms for medical purposes. I mean, it's been, I can't say proven because they haven't technically proved it, but multiple studies have suggested that psilocybin is able to treat tons and tons of psychological issues, depression, suicide. The list does just kind of keep going, and unfortunately, it's much like
a lot of psychological issues.
Yeah, I mean, like where we have cannabidiol treating a whole bunch of physical issues. We have psilocybin treating a whole bunch of
mental issues.
mental issues.
Yeah, so it's like the two of the most natural drugs that have been fairly illegal for a long time could be solving a lot of our problems.
Most of them, like,
Rip.
the thing, like, so I was for a very long time. I didn't care about whether marijuana was legalized or not. I just didn't care. It was like, I don't partake. I don't care. If people want to legalize it, they can. The thing that 100% changed my mind on that is seeing the people that are suffering from like seizures or cerebral palsy or anything like that, who are having these really bad fits. And on camera, I get to watch this person who there is no ability to truly fake a seizure or the way that cerebral palsy wrecks someone's body. Mm-hmm. Like, unless you are maybe one of the best actors in the world for that purpose, you can't really do it. And when you see someone having those, you know, because your body has this weird reaction of like, that could be me. Whereas if you see someone acting it, it's not the same. But when you see it happening in earnest, your body has this sense. It's kind of like if you've ever been online and watched someone die online, there's this weird calm that sets over your body.
There's like a disconnect though.
Right. Of like, I just watched that person die, and there's this level of like awareness of your mortal shell that you become aware of, that you are then placed on, of like, you don't think as much about what could be because it doesn't affect you.
Right. It just doesn't matter as much to you.
And when I see these videos of people suffering from seizures or suffering very, very bad fits from cerebral palsy or anything like that, and then they get this illegal substance in the form of just a syringe that they just put into their mouth of CBD oil, and within a minute, under a minute, they're completely fine and able to move better than they ever did even before that fit started. Like, they can literally be normal. I don't know if there is any argument you could present to me that would make me feel that it shouldn't be 100% legalized across the entire world. Because standard medicine could not achieve that. Not even close.
No, not anywhere near.
And
There's
so,
something just different about those drugs.
And so, as long as, like, if you want to present something that has as few risks and as few side effects, in the case of basically none, that isn't marijuana, fine. But I don't think you're going to. So until you can find a way to achieve what this substance can achieve with as little harm as it achieves, which again is basically none, there is no argument, in my opinion. Zero. Legalize it and let people live a healthier life.
Yeah. Let them do their thing, man.
Like, there is substantially more arguments I have for why alcohol should be completely illegal around the world. Because there's not many benefits to alcohol, and it's just destructive.
Oh, absolutely, if not more.
So, that's my feelings on the matter. And this is coming from somebody who drinks on the very rare occasion, but never partakes in cannabis at all.
Yeah, trust me, I've tried.
Yeah. Multiple people have. But I also appreciate that people respect me enough to be like, all right, we tried. You cool, man. You want to hang out anyway? And I'm like, yeah, sure.
It's all right. Maybe I'll get him to be high on top of a mountain.
No. Not in that capacity.
Not even while you're high?
Funny. The only way you are achieving this is if you manage to somehow get me to eat an edible without me knowing that it is an edible.
That's not a problem.
No sweat. I'm going to buy a bag of gummy bears, put some other gummy bears in there, and be like, yo, bro, I bought you some gummy bears. And I'll be like, oh, it's just Haribo brand. Nom, nom, nom.
Yeah, Haribo. Wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't worry, it was only $30 for this pack of 10.
That is the most expensive pack of fucking gummy bears I've ever bought. Now sit here and eat them.
Shut up and eat it.
All of them.
By the way, you have to eat the whole bag. Why? Because I don't know anymore which one is the one that I need you to eat. So you got to eat them all. What are you talking about? Nom nom.
Just fucking shoving them in your mouth.
Shut up. Sit down and eat it.
1.
United States Senator to introduce bill to ban loot boxes and pay-to-win microtransactions.
This was submitted by Next Hammer to our gaming.
Okay, I have no questions or problems with this. Please do it now.
Yeah, get rid of these fucking dickheads.
Like, so if you are not a gamer, which I know that there is a portion of our audience that is not, and they kind of roll their eyes when we talk about video games, and I understand and I apologize for that. You're going to have to bear with us for just a second because this does matter very, very much beyond, like, I like video games. It affects so many people. There is a system in video games that is often referred to as loot boxes, and they are the most bullshit, predatory practices that I've seen in such a long time.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's really fucking awful.
The way that it works is you pay them money and you get a box that has a random assortment of whatever.
You get a pull tab.
What?
You get a pull tab.
Yeah, you get a pull tab. You won't lose. No matter what, you will get something. But you are chasing after the golden prize at the top. You are chasing after a better weapon for your character. You're chasing after better characters for your soccer team. You're chasing after whatever. And they prey on anybody that has any level of a weakness to gambling. And this specific bill that was put in place by Senator Josh Hawley is taking the direction of that they are encouraging gambling in children, which we've talked about this before. Even in the United Kingdom did a study that showed something like 22% of children that play video games are considered to be addicted to gambling because of the way that loot boxes function. They function exactly on a psychological level like gambling. You are giving them money, you are rolling a proverbial dice, seeking a dopamine hit from getting that sparkling gold prize.
So, if they ban loot boxes, do they have to stop allowing card packs in card games?
It's not addressed in this, and it is something that I am curious about because in a lot of ways that is true. Like, we've had packs of baseball cards for decades, and now we have, collectible card games, trading card games like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, and so on that function very much that same way.
Baseball cards are more fucking pull tabs than any other card game because, like, at least for card games, you can actually use those cards for a game. Baseball fucking cards, they just sit there and look nice.
Right. And so it's not addressed in this. This is specifically focusing on video games. And I've heard the comparison of loot boxes to card packs because it is a perfect comparison. They function the exact same way. But I don't know. I think it's about the ease of purchase when it comes to loot boxes. Of you're sitting at home, you're playing this game, and it requires a button and $2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like card packs, you have to go to the store.
That's not true.
No, you can order them online.
MTGA, bitch.
That's true.
And Hearthstone.
And yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, considering those are video games, that this might end up,
counting as a loot box.
Applying. Because it's not just loot boxes. He is also wanting to apply this law to anything that is considered to be pay to win, which I would consider buying packs of cards, hoping for better cards to do better in the game, being a pay to win system. And it all feeds into predatory habits in video games. With loot boxes, it is about preying on chasing that high from getting something rare. And with pay to win, it's literally just be like you could do, like they've proven this to be predatory as well, of like you could do better if you just spent $10, and it's like I could do better if I just spent $10. I like doing better. I like this game. This is fun. I should give them $10. And it's like, no, that's not how that should work. And so I do believe that at least in terms of the electronic card games, it would apply, but I don't think it'll stretch over to the physical card games. And so he's just like the bill he's proposed is kind of like no exceptions whatsoever of just like, nope, if you can't prove that you are not selling this to children, then you cannot sell this product.
I mean, I understand it's gambling.
Like, and which is a really funny restriction, because saying like enter your birth date is not a way to prove that someone isn't underage. And
Right.
there has already been pushback about like, well, there's the parents should be there and parents have the ability to limit and parental controls. And basically he was like, I don't care. You know as well as I that doesn't work. So get over it. Which, I mean, this is a long time coming. The video game industry is in a horrible state right now in terms of how it is functioning.
Most things, yeah. They had their first walkout ever at Riot.
Yep. And video game developers are underpaid and overworked. In some cases expected to do 120 hour work weeks with no increase in pay because they're contracted salary employees, so you don't get any more money for doing more time.
They don't get overtime, no.
And once the game is finished, you can almost 100% expect to be fired, because if you are not actively working on a game, you are just an expense and you are considered to be cut. Activision Blizzard, the people behind games like Star Wars, behind games like FIFA, behind the World of Warcraft franchise, etc., they last year reported the highest revenue year they have ever had. They made more money last year than they ever had before, and because of that, they fired 800 employees.
That's a lot.
We made more money than we ever made before, but we need to help our bottom line as much as we can, so you 800, get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's fucked up, dude.
Video game developers have no union, they have no protections, and they are just wanting to do the job that they have trained themselves to do and what they want to do as a career, and the entire system completely shits on them in every capacity. And video games are now designed around the idea of trying to push as many microtransactions as possible to squeeze blood out of the proverbial stone of the consumers.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's a lot of mobile games you can't even finish a goddamn level without being assaulted with an ad. It's like, hey, you earned this for winning. Would you like to double your earnings by watching an ad? Sure. Okay, cool. Well, because you were away from playing this game, you earned this. Would you like to watch an ad to double it? Blah 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 blah. And it's like, it's never money that actually matters in the game, because there usually has like 2 or 3 different kinds of fucking. That's the thing that I hate about video games. Video games that have like 2 or 3 different kinds of monetary transactions.
We have the basic currency, the premium currency, and the paid currency.
It's like, yeah, you have your subscription currency, you have your actual pay currency. Yeah, it's stupid. It's like, why?
It's all designed around making it to where you are not aware of as much money as you are spending and preying on the people that will be willing to spend that money in excess. Like, I myself have fallen prey to it before, of like, yeah, if I just give them $30 fucking, I'll get something cool.
And then you don't.
No, yeah, and then you don't even get it, and you're like, fuck.
Like, it's so disappointing. It's such a fucking shit, you know?
All right. I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me! Nathan, what did you care about in the last 14 days?
Oh, God, I just had it up. What did I care about? God damn it. I just had it like pulled open. Oh, the Pro Jared thing.
That's
what I cared about. I cared about how Pro Jared and actually James Charles as well, they're hemorrhaging like a motherfucker.
So to quickly summarize, Pro Jared, a very, very, very long-standing YouTuber, like he's borderline, basically like one of the OG YouTubers, especially for like, he's one of the people that kind of built the foundation for video game YouTubers. He was recently discovered to have had an affair. He cheated on his wife, and not only did he cheat on his wife, he cheated on his wife with a minor. And so yeah, he's not real popular right now anymore. And
That's not even all of it though, because like he also cheated on his wife with Commander Holly, who he worked with in a D&D campaign, as well as Commander Holly used to be married to one of his friends, Rubber Ross.
yeah. So he lost 100,000 subscribers in a single day, and is largely expected to just kind of fall as much as possible because the internet is very supportive of people when they struggle, but they're not very supportive of people when they're shitlords.
Yeah, and dude, even his fucking subreddit, like even the mods and everyone,
Yeah, the
they were
subreddit's tearing him
shitting on him.
apart, which is hilarious.
It's so good.
Like
Like the fucking the pro Jared memes are top notch. Like pro ZD had a fucking tweet he had that got turned into a meme, and it was like, it's a really awkward time in YouTube gaming when your name starts with pro. But the real big difference to tell me apart from pro Jared is that I don't cheat on my wife.
Yeah. There was also a really great meme about Pro ZD, and it was a picture of him with like one of his skits, and he had like the gun and the mustache and stuff, and he's like the headline was like, that awkward moment when a vocal anime fan is the least toxic YouTuber on the platform.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, oh,
dude, even PewDiePie had a fucking video about it yesterday, and on it he had this clip that from a Pro Jared video where Pro Jared rated a game a broken marriage out of 10, and he kept using it whenever he was rating memes.
damn.
And I was dying.
The other thing that Nathan mentioned is James Charles. James Charles, a very, very, very popular
He hemorrhaged
influencer.
like 1 million fucking subscribers leaving his YouTube channel in like 2 or 3 days.
Nope, it was within one day. One day he lost
Jesus
over 1 million
fuck
subscribers.
Christ.
And the reason why, James Charles, who's a very, very popular influencer, massive YouTube platform focused on like makeup and self-beauty and stuff like that, it recently was discovered that he was using his fame to essentially prey on very young people and get like sexual videos and favors and stuff from underage people. And yeah, that doesn't tend to fly very well by the internet standards.
No, shouldn't fly by anyone's standards, really.
I mean, I don't know. Ask our president; he'd probably give him a medal.
Well, yeah, obviously, because our president's fucking a disgusting. I can't even call him a human being.
So yeah, don't be a scrub lord. Don't be a shitbag. Don't be a twat waffle. Like, so many of these people let their position get into their head, and they just go off the rails with just being this self-absorbed fuckbag.
James Charles was definitely one of them. James Charles reminds me a lot of Jeffree Star.
Like, you know what? Like, be a Jenna Marbles. Like.
Yeah, like there's so many other things that you can do.
Be Eliza Koshy.
Not kill your fucking subscribers. Like, I don't understand. It's really easy not being a shithead.
Yeah.
And you see all these people, and for some reason they just. I guess it's really easy to be a shithead, but yeah, it's really easy not to be a shithead, and you're fucking ruining your own livelihoods, but also not just your livelihoods, but also the livelihoods of the people who work for you.
Around you or people that are connected to you in any capacity, which is also like there. I see people that will criticize the like. So, for instance, like you have person A. And you have YouTuber A and YouTuber B, and YouTuber B very often works alongside, is considered to be very good friends with YouTuber A. YouTuber A did something super shitty, like cheat on his wife with an underage kid. And then YouTuber B is like, fuck that, and gets as far away from that person as possible. And everyone's like, I can't believe you'd abandon your friend like that. And it's like, one, I have a livelihood that I need to be concerned about. And two, I don't approve of that behavior either. Like...
Yeah, like, don't lump me in just because we were friends. Like, bitch did something wrong. They're gonna fucking feel that, they did something wrong.
Like, we'll just make a comparison right here. If I did something like that, Nathan would not be on this show. Nathan'd be like, no, fuck you. Like, he would probably come
Yeah,
on
I
the show
choose
long
not
enough
to
to be
do
like,
it.
well, I'm glad we're live to where you can't stop this before I say anything else. I just want to say that you're a horrible human being and I never want to work with you again. Okay, thanks, bye.
Dude, you thought that I was rude to him before just being a dickhead. Man, you have no idea the kind of fucking shade I would be throwing.
So, like, yeah. No. Like, you made your bed, now you get to lay in it.
Exactly. You have done negative things. You're going to take your negative consequences now.
Which, like, multiple parts in this. Like, these people are selfish. They're on the top of their game. They think they can't be touched. They think they're going to get away with it. They don't think it's that big of a deal.
Now,
Like,
I don't want to say it's all makeup artists, but a lot of makeup artists act this way.
I think it's because they are, like people like Pro Jared are popular because of, like, the content they make. And, like, you know, they get a big platform and stuff. But makeup artists, they are constantly told that they are, you know, the beautiful porcelain doll of the world. Like, they are the reality that everyone wants to be. Like, there are people that would like to be in Pro Jared's his slot on YouTube, right? Like a popular.
Well, I would like to be in Pro Jared's position prior to him cheating on people because his wife was hot as shit.
Well, yeah, but, like, you know, successful gaming YouTuber, that's a very, very sought after position. You know, happy family, everything's going well. Like, that is a wanted spot. But then you have
the fucking, hold on, the tweets that Heidi was throwing out too were fucking gold. Just the shade. Anyways, keep going.
And so, like, but with makeup artists, more than you have the people that are like, I like this person's content, or they, like, have that desire of being in that person's spot. You have a lot of people that want to specifically be that person.
Right. That's fair.
And so it creates an even larger level of, like, pedestal worship for these people.
Yeah. Idol worship is not good in any fashion.
No, it's not. You shouldn't do it.
That's one thing from religion that I'm okay with, you know, bringing over into the real world is you shouldn't really be worshiping idols like that. Not because you should be worshiping Jesus more. I could give less fucks if you care about Jesus, but just because
Jesus.
idol worship is not good.
Worship Cthulhu.
Not only is it not good for your own sanity, but it also does not help the people that you are idolizing.
Yeah. No, it's destructive in every direction.
Mm-hmm. You end up getting more Justin Biebers, and that's just not something that we want.
Like, the thing is, if you want to see a side of this that is the opposite, you can take a look at Markiplier. Markiplier is one of the biggest platforms on YouTube, and he has a massive following of people that absolutely adore him. One, he doesn't be a shitbag, although I do have qualms with his clothing line, but that's a different conversation. What does he do with all of his position? Does he flaunt it? Does he, you know, put himself on this pedestal and let people worship him? No, he doesn't. He brings himself down to everyone else's level as much as he already was, you know, in any level above them, and goes, you know what? All right, let's do something awesome. I have all of this platform, all of this clout that I can throw around. We're going to do a 48-hour live stream straight to raise money for kids in need. And we're going to raise $500,000. Does that sound cool? And everyone's like, yeah, that sounds great. Cool. Let's do it. He pushes to take his position to help as much as he can, which is awesome. Then you have people like James Charles who are just so absorbed in themselves, and who are just using their position to continue to better themselves as much as they can, who prey on their own audiences, that when this happens, I'm just like, good, fuck you. Like,
yeah, I mean, at least he's not as outwardly racist as Jeffree Star is.
That's true.
Like, Jeffree Star is pretty fucking racist.
All right.
I don't understand how that guy still has any form of clout.
I don't know, man, because I don't know. All right, let's get out of here though. This show's long as hell. Everybody, if you'd please consider supporting this show, patreon.com/dailyinternet, or pick up some of our merchandise in the link down below. If you have anything at all that you want us to talk about, send it to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or Reddit. All of those are at iReaditCast. We do go live on Sundays at 9 a.m. Alaska time, so if you want to catch it, be on our Facebook group or on our YouTube page and catch the live streams there. Join us in the chat room and feel free to tell us just how wrong we are. Otherwise,
But actually back it up with, like, don't back it up with anecdotal evidence or shit like that. Like, actually back it up. Come on, guys.
back it up now, y'all.
The anecdotal evidence is for my side to do. You guys actually provide evidence, please.
So I guess that's it. So that is your 545th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Varys.
The Lord of Whispers.
Mm-hmm.
And please remember,
Lord
everybody,
of No Cocks.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
goodbye.
Bye.